DateLine. Headline breaking news with snark that should be outlawed. DateLine. Flashback. This from our June 8th show. DateLine. Ohio. While people with more than 27 brain cells realize Barack Obama only won re-election with voter fraud, the mainstream media still turns a blind eye to blatant evidence. Because of the racist GOP and their voter suppression, poor Meloise Richardson was able to vote only 8 times for Obama in 2012.
Wow.
After pleading no contest, Meloise was given a 5-year sentence, but was slipped out the back door when people lost interest, after only 8 months by the ADA, who just so happens to be an Obama donor.
It's incredible.
Unfortunately, after 7 years of the voter fraud kings, the Obama administration, justice, my friends, is not blind. DateLine. New Hampshire. As the state of Texas won a court battle last week in overturning an Obama-appointed judge's ruling against their voter ID law, the Democrats put their heads deeper in the sand when it comes to voter fraud. In Bridgeport, New Hampshire, Democrat State Representative Christina Ayala was arrested on voter fraud charges.
It's a disturbing pattern.
She was charged with 8 counts of fraudulent voting, 10 counts of primary or enrollment violations, and 1 count of tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. She had been voting in 2 separate districts for years.
Hard to comprehend, but that's true.
And according to the Connecticut Post, Ayala's mother, Santa, was also investigated by the Election Enforcement Commission. The commission also recommended criminal charges be filed against Ayala's mother, the Democrat Registrar of Voters in Bridgeport, but none has been filed to date.
Oh, no, come on now, baby.
Not only is voter fraud a Democrat tradition, but it seems to be a Democrat family tradition as well. Hey, wasn't New Hampshire one of those battleground states that Mitt Romney was ahead in, but somehow miraculously lost to Barack Obama in 2012?
Yes.
You don't think it was voter fraud, do you? DateLine. Flashback. This from our July 30th show. DateLine. Mississippi. Just when you thought the rhinoceroses had stooped to their lowest level in trying to hold on to their position, power, prestige, and pork, then comes along Republican Tad Cochran.
You disgust me.
Trailing Tea Party candidate Chris McDaniel by a wide margin, the sitting senator from Mississippi, who has been feeding on pork for over 42 years in Washington, D.C., needed professional help to beat McDaniel in the Republican primary runoff. Cochran called on the elite in their profession. He called on the professionals in voter fraud, the Democrats.
Absolutely, positively, unequivocally.
Using the tried-and-true liberal slime book, rare for a supposed Republican, they played the imaginary race card against McDaniel with lies and innuendo. Throw in their typical Democrat multiple votes, and there you have it. An establishment GOP stealing an election just like a Democrat.
Shame on you.
Just when you thought the line between the establishment GOP and Democrats was blurred enough,
And like that, gone.
DateLine. Flashback. This from our August 24th show. DateLine. Reality. It was another bad week for environmentals as these global warming hoaxers keep getting bitch slapped by Mother Nature.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
With a massive cold front moving to Wyoming and Montana, they are bracing for snow.
Say what?
In August. It's August, people. Global warming and there's snow in August?
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Besides the already snowfall records set this summer throughout the United States, daily record minimums have outnumbered record maximums 3-1 in the last 30 days. The numbers break down like this. Daily records, record high temps in the last 30 days are 368, but all-time record lows in the same period are 1,072.
What?
I don't make this stuff up. Not only that, monthly record highs are 6, monthly record lows are 17, and 3 new snow records set in the same period.
Oh my God.
But if you ask these environmentals, what happened to their global warming, they'll most likely give you an answer like this.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
DateLine. Hollywood. Actors in Tinseltown have finally had enough of this administration's thug-style attacks on regular citizens, reporters, and whistleblowers. Here is actor and activist Tim Robbins.
A chill wind is blowing in this nation. A message is being sent through the White House. If you oppose this administration, there can and will be ramifications.
Wow.
Oh, wait. That was back in 2003.
Say what?
That was his full outrage at the imaginary attacks on freedom of speech by the Bush administration.
What?
But where is his outrage today? Thought so. According to the ACLU, not a conservative group by any stretch of the imagination, as they documented last week, the Obama administration's ramifications if you oppose them.
It's a disturbing pattern.
Gabe Rotman of the ACLU details the vicious prosecution of Obama's enemies. Quote, "When it comes to sending these folks to jail, the Obama administration blows every other presidency combined out of the water. By a lot. By my count, the Obama administration has secured 526 months of prison time for national security leakers versus only 24 months total jail time for everyone else since the American Revolution." Unquote.
Wow.
And if you throw in the targeting of conservative groups and pro-Israel groups by the IRS, as well as this administration firing its own inspectors general when they uncover fraud perpetrated by this administration, and you have a Stalinistic oppression against the people.
Oh my God!
Now, DateLine reached out to Tim Robbins for a comment on the damning report out of the ACLU, but there was no response. Fellow actor Ken Wallace suggested to us that Timmy probably was too busy caddying for Obama.
4! 4! Well, I yelled 4, you idiot. That's what 4 means.
Now, the hypocrisy of the limousine nobles in Hollywood is well documented, but the Obama administration has exposed them for what they really are. Phony drive-by activists just trying to get their faces on TV for what they perceive as liberal causes. Hopefully, the American public will remember this colossal hypocrisy next time a Republican is in the White House when these caviar activists start blabbering on about a chill wind. And hopefully, we as Americans can tell all of Hollywood,
Oh, shut up.
DateLine, La La Land.
I love LA.
Conservative artist Sabo struck again recently in the rich and affluent Los Angeles suburb of Brentwood.
Champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
This brave guerrilla artist has blasted liberal loons on the left coast for years and took aim at Hillary Clinton's fundraising for Senate Democrats. This party will be attended by your typical multimillionaires that care so deeply about the downtrodden common folk.
Okay.
The likes of Jeffrey Katzenberg, Steven Spielberg, and the other multimillionaires fundraising for the political party that for the past 7.5 years in power has increased the gap between rich and poor.
The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer.
And has created the worst poverty seen in a generation.
Oh my God!
Sabo created posters and plastered them all over Brentwood depicting a flying monkey from The Wizard of Oz holding a Hillary 2016 sign.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Which I think is apropos, as Hollywood is just around the corner. For those of you who don't know his work, check it out. He's the one who mocked the drone Gwyneth Paltrow after she gushed over the president.
You're an idiot.
And Sabo also has ridiculed other liberal morons like Samuel Jackson, Alec Baldwin, and politicians like Nancy Pelosi.
Not pleased with the disrespect.
And even cut to the essence of our bitch slap of the week winner last week, Wendy Davis, by putting up posters of her, calling her Abortion Barbie. Of course, whenever Sabo posts his posters around the City of Angels, he has his street art torn down immediately by the LA Kool-Aid crowd. So much for the tolerant left.
That is so much crap.
DateLine. Hollywood Redo. Barbra Streisand, who was the top renter of the Lincoln bedroom of the White House when serial womanizer and registered sex offender Bill Clinton was in office, has come out of the closet.
Say what?
I don't mean that. Your mind is always in the gutter.
Oh, no.
She has been quiet for most of the Obama administration, as she was a huge supporter of Hillary Clinton's run for the Democratic nomination for president in 2008.
Yes, yes.
She was fuming at the underhanded tactics and rampant sexism of the Obama campaign, as well as them calling her friend Bill a racist. But now that Babs sees another for rent sign on the Lincoln bedroom coming if Hillary gets elected president. Sorry about that. Just wanted to throw that scary thought out there with Halloween coming up.
Okay.
Streisand is back on the fundraising trail to help fight the wave that this country will finally be tossing the scumbag Democrats and their slimy leader, Harry Reid, out of the Senate after 8 years of disastrous, obstructionist, partisan, absolute rule.
Amen, brother. Amen.
In a recent email where Barbara begs her fans to donate to the Senate Democrats, she is quoted as saying, quote, "By the way, if not for Republicans' austere budget cuts, the NIH could have possibly have had an Ebola vaccine by now." Unquote. Apparently, this ignorant celebrity isn't aware of the fact that President Barack Obama proposed cutting public health preparedness spending, and the Republicans in the House gave him more money than he requested.
That's the fact, Jack!
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will see an 8.2% budget increase for fiscal 2014 thanks to a $1.1 trillion spending bill announced by Congress last January 13. I guess this political ne'er-do-well doesn't know the fact.
That's a fact, Jack!
Wait, guys, I wasn't to the punchline yet.
Okay.
I guess this political ne'er-do-well doesn't know either the fact that the Clinton and Bush administrations had a special assistant to the president for biosecurity, but the genius Obama got rid of it.
That's a fact, Jack!
I guess the all-knowledgeable singer and actress doesn't know that George W. Bush's plans to enact quarantine regulations supported by the Centers for Disease Control that were designed to prevent travelers from spreading infectious diseases was denied full implementation in June 2009 by this administration.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
I don't know about you people, but I am sick and tired of these limousine liberal Hollywood elite blabbering on about things like politics that they know absolutely nothing about, and with an arrogance of faux authority. I guess it's a fool's wish, but I would love for liberals in Hollywood, like Barbra Streisand, to wake up to the truth about the disaster that is liberalism and finally pull their heads out of their DateLine. A DateLine favorite, the governor of the Golden State, Jerry Brown, otherwise known as Governor Moonbeam, has his state back in the news again this week.
Wow.
Don't get so excited. It's because Brown's economic policies have created the worst poverty in the nation.
You talk about reckless and irresponsible.
That's right. The liberal policies that have been so successful in the past have failed once again, with a 23% poverty rate in California and nearly a quarter of the state's 38 million residents, that's 8.9 million people, living in poverty.
Oh my God!
California's economic potential could make it the state that would be an economic catalyst for a real recovery for the entire nation from the Pelosi and Reid Great Recession.
Why aren't we talking about something else?
Even with this disastrous economic record, Brown, out of touch with reality, is running for re-election.
Oh my God.
He's running against the Republican candidate Neel Kashkari. Kashkari is a first-generation American with both of his parents immigrants from India.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. May I continue?
Oh, I'd love that.
Kashkari earned bachelor's and master's degrees in engineering at the University of Illinois, and then moved to California in 1998 and worked as a design engineer developing technology for NASA space missions. Kashkari wanted to learn about entrepreneurship and job creation.
Three-letter word. Jobs. J-O-B-S. Jobs.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. May I continue?
Oh, I'd love that.
So he went back to school and earned an MBA from the prestigious Wharton School of Business.
Wow.
After graduating, he moved to Silicon Valley and worked with entrepreneurs to raise capital to help them grow their companies and create jobs.
Wow. Wow.
Neel's interest in public policy and service took him to Washington, D.C. in 2006 when President George W. Bush appointed him to the Department of Treasury.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Get to the point.
Point is, you have what some might call a genius in engineering and a business whiz running against a tired old 70s liberal with even more tired and outdated failed liberal policies.
Loser.
So the choice should be easy for poverty-stricken Californians, right?
Right.
Wrong.
Don't!
Brown is now 15 days out from the election, ahead of Kashkari by double digits in the Real Clear Politics average.
Say what?
Kashkari is 20 points down in the polls.
So the chicken
Throw in the fact that, according to even the most partisan Democrat analysts, Neel cleaned Brown's clock in the only televised debate, and you might begin to wonder, how stupid is the California voter?
I just don't know.
No wonder it's the bluest of blue states.
That's retarded, sir.
And here's my message to the California voter.
You're a moron!
DateLine. Bitch slap of the week. What some might call the most satisfying part of DateLine is here.
Dynamite!
This is where we administer instant justice. No media disinformation, no liberal spin, facts presented, and retribution given. This week's winner of the Bitch Slap of the Week, Ron Klain.
Say what?
I said Ron Klain.
Say what?
Wow. Neither of you guys know who this clown is?
No. No. No.
Ron Klain is the new Ebola czar. Not that kind of czar. As we stated here last week on DateLine, this administration is more interested in spinning the media's reporting on a serious problem that might affect this president adversely than actually resolving the problem.
Mr. President, this is ridiculous. There is no plan.
And right on cue, they appoint a partisan hack,
Come on, what's the matter with you?
a political fixer,
Come on, what's the matter with you?
to head the government's actions to head off a mass outbreak of a killer disease.
It's incredible.
Now you may be asking yourself why Klain has been awarded the Bitch Slap of the Week when he just got appointed.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
Hey, let me explain before you bitch slap me.
Okay.
This is a day of reckoning for Klain's slimy past, as well as a preemptive bitch slap against his future partisan actions as Ebola czar.
Get to the point.
Klain has a sordid history of being a political operative mired in scandals from the Clinton administration to the Obama pay-for-play cylinder kickback scandal. He also worked for Fannie Mae, a Democrat slush fund that was one of the major catalysts that kicked off the Great Recession.
What's this? A fist.
He has been staff director of the Senate Democrat Leadership Committee, appointed by tax chief Tom Daschle.
Quiet.
He has been chief of staff for the serial plagiarist and world-class moron, Vice President Joe Biden.
Who the hell are you talking to?
And he was mired deep in the Democrats' attempt to steal the 2000 election from George W. Bush as Klain worked for climate crook Al Gore. So now Barack Obama, instead of appointing someone to coordinate a serious response to the Ebola outbreak in the U.S., puts a political operative to work on optics and to spin the press because Klain has absolutely no experience on infectious diseases.
Get out.
Nor does he have any medical experience whatsoever.
Quiet.
An unserious administration more worried about optics just to put the people in this country in more danger of a widespread epidemic with an unserious appointment at the head of the response team. What do you have to say about this purely political appointment with no real attempt to address the issue, Mr. President?
But let me just speak.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
You deserve one too, Mr. Obama. And that's DateLine for this day, October 20th, 2014.